This is the island of Lanai, and it's the world's most expensive island, valued at over $630 million. It's a part of Hawaii's land archipelagos and was acquired by billionaire Larry Ellison in 2012. But what makes Lanai so outrageously expensive? And how did it go from being known as the Pineapple Island to a billionaire's ultimate playground? To understand this island's insane price tag, we have to go back to the start of the 20th century. Lanai Island was bought by James Doles for only $1.1 million. He bought the island to mass farm pineapples. The island was then transformed into becoming the biggest pineapple supplier in the US during the 20th century and earning the title of Pineapple Island, which stuck with it till this day. Still, the island's value wouldn't skyrocket until much later. In 1985, the island's ownership would end up in the hands of David Murdoch, who bought the parent company of Doles. During this time, there'd be some changes, but nothing compared to what would come. The island was sparsely populated with no pavements, roads, or even traffic lights. However, they did develop a Four Seasons hotel and 2 golf courses and a few local properties. It was in 2012 when Murdoch sold Lanai to Larry Ellison that the island's value soared considerably. Ellison bought the island for a whopping $300 million, which may seem like a lot to an average person, but it was just a light purchase for the world's 11th richest man at the time. Over the last decade, the value of the island has doubled from what Ellison bought, and there are several reasons for that. Lanai is an extremely exclusive part of Hawaii, and in fact, it is often referred to as the most well-hidden gem of Hawaii. The reason for it being so empty is based on mythologies and legends created related to its surroundings. It was believed to be home to man-eating spirits, and this fear successfully drove out several of the residents. Although it was decades ago, it had long-term effects. As in 2010, it had a population of 3,101 people, whereas in 2023, the population is 3,164. So in more than a decade, the population increased by a mere 0.20%. To put things into perspective, this is less than Canada's annual increase of 5%. It is renowned among travelers as the place where you can find a seamless blend of nature and luxury. It features several natural hiking trails like the Monroe Trail, pristine beaches, lush forests, and unique attractions like the Shipwreck Beach. Consequently, it successfully attracted travelers and even billionaires, like Bill Gates, who got married on one of the golf courses in 1994. Several celebrities such as Tom Cruise, Will Smith, Oprah Winfrey, Jessica Alba, Cindy Crawford, and Sigourney Weaver found peace and solace in the Four Seasons resort of Lanai, far away from the flashing lights of the paparazzi. It's safe to say that the island is especially popular among the rich. Ever since Ellison bought the island, he has transformed it into an even more luxurious stay than Murdoch, the previous owner. Murdoch had a great vision for the island too, but after moving the pineapple business overseas, things changed. The economy of Lanai started to crash, and soon Murdoch lost interest in the island and stopped maintaining it. Murdoch did try to save the island by generating income through windmill farms for Oahu. However, it resulted in conflict among the tight-knit community of Lanai. Therefore, Murdoch sold the island to Ellison, who was regarded as a godsend by the locals ever since the relationship between Ellison and the locals fluctuated. Soon after acquiring the island, Ellison announced his plans for a green and eco-friendly Lanai. As expected, the locals were more than happy and supportive of this vision. They even started liking Ellison. In one interview, Ellison even claimed to use Lanai as a prototype for a 100% self-sustainable city. Granted, Ellison has a net worth of more than $157 billion, and it does have a high chance of success. When Ellison bought the island, it came with most of the infrastructure, including golf courses, animal rescue, public swimming pools, and 2 Four Seasons hotels. However, many of the local businesses were still under the residents of the island, so Ellison started to acquire them too in an attempt to gain complete control over Lanai. This was a devastating blow to several of the locals. In many cases, they were forced off of their jobs and coerced to hand over their businesses. In one instance, a resident named Chris Andrews owned a business called Lanai Woodworkers alone with his friend. Ellison gave them the ultimatum to either sell the business or clear out. Unfortunately, Andrews got the short end of the stick. While his friend managed to get a job, he was forced into unemployment and soon evicted. Now Andrews lives off aid from the Catholic Charities. But not everyone lost their jobs. The net effect of Ellison's projects was actually a decrease in the unemployment rate to a mere 1.2%. The very first thing Ellison did after his big purchase was reopening the public swimming pool. What was once closed as a measure to save money was now being renovated into a 5-star styled pool accessible to all. This was an incredible move from Ellison as it boosted his popularity among the locals. Ellison also gave a complete makeover to Dole Park for the first time in a while, which was a breath of fresh air, literally and figuratively. Ellison completely transformed Lanai Island and significantly increased the value with the interesting changes. He proceeded to renovate the Four Seasons at Manele Bay and Four Seasons Lodge at Kauai as well. They were transformed from their English-styled furniture and interior design to a much more lavish, modern, and neutral design. He incorporated elements of Hawaii with a touch of modernity to showcase the island's culture. The suites were designed to give the illusion that the renters had the entire Lanai to themselves. It features mesmerizing beaches, views, private waterfalls, dip pools, koi ponds, and a botanical garden. These unique facilities and spectacular services made the island a grand endeavor that made one feel special, as if the world was created to just cater to them. It was no surprise it attracted celebrities and elites from all over the globe. Ellison spent more than $450 million to remodel the Four Seasons resorts. His efforts certainly paid off because now, one night at the suite can cost as high as $21,000, making it the most expensive resort in all of Hawaii. The two golf courses faced a similar fate. The golf course in Manele was revamped, whereas a zip line and an adventure park replaced the one in Kauai, designed by golfer Greg Norman. Ellison also opened 2 branches of a world-famous Japanese restaurant, Nobu. These restaurants were designed to target the 1%. Considering the median annual income of Lanai is just around $88,000 a year, it was clear who he planned to target. In 2014, to make Lanai even more accessible, Ellison bought a budget airline called Island Air. However, it failed in just 2 years and was then replaced by Lanai Airlines, which takes routes from Honolulu to Lanai. Now the once hard-to-reach island was more accessible than ever before. As a result, trips to Lanai increased. To further transform the island to a billionaire playground, in 2018 a wellness center was launched called Sensei Retreat. For $3,000, you could spend the night in the luxurious retreat for some spiritual cleansing. It offers cozy rooms with spectacular views, onsen baths, a spa, and a delectable cuisine from Nobu. Sensei also has 2 hydroponic ponds measuring up to 20,000 square feet each. These ponds have multiple sensors installed to track the plant's growth. The best part? These are powered by 1,600 Tesla solar panels, which isn't hard for Ellison to get considering he's part of the Tesla board. With all of these developments, it was becoming clearer that Ellison aimed to turn Lanai into a tourist spot where the rich could find an escape from their responsibilities. Lanai is becoming more appealing as the days go by, consequently, its worth doubled over the last decade. The locals who lived before Ellison took over could not afford the majority of the new development, so Ellison developed a plan. He created the company Pulama Lanai to communicate with locals and manage and preserve the resources of Lanai. It is led by Kurt Matsumoto, who is a Lanai local. It was another perfect diplomatic move by Ellison, as it made the locals feel safe and more inclined to trust him because he included their people in managing their own land. In a sense, they felt they still had some influence over their homeland. Many of the houses built in Lanai were for the super rich, but the company recently announced its plans to develop a 150-house community, out of which they plan to make at least 50% of the housing affordable. Now, what does that mean? It means that even though the houses won't be available for sale, they could be rented at reasonable prices, well within the locals' ranges. Therefore, it was a brilliant initiative to provide them with better housing and to promote population increase. To further transform Lanai into a billionaire utopia, Ellison plans to buy Lanai's power grid from Hawaiian Electrical Company and move the island from fossil fuels to renewable energy sources like solar energy. There is definitely a chance that he could succeed and soon be able to turn his vision of a 100% sustainable city into a reality. Besides, if this works out, it'd be a huge game changer, not only for the island, but also for the regions it's close to. It could help most surrounding islands, and especially the Hawaii region, turn into a green utopia. Therefore, it's clear why the island's valued so highly. Lanai Island has changed significantly from once being a pineapple plantation to transforming into a high-end luxury retreat. While Ellison's investments have doubled the island's value and introduced luxurious vacation spots and sustainability initiatives, they have also created social and economic disparities between locals and wealthy visitors. The island's staggering $630 million valuation reflects both its allure and its challenges.